The Alexander Isak situation at Liverpool Football Club, for me, has been one of the most topsy-turvy situations I've seen in the transfer market in quite some time, if I'm being honest. Let's backtrack and give you the full story in case any of you have missed it. Now, since the end of the previous Premier League season and into this summer transfer window, Liverpool have, not publicly, but online. There's been many reports that Liverpool were interested in Alexander Isak coming to Anfield. However, many of the reports indicated that Newcastle said Isak was not for sale, and most people, amongst myself and others, felt as though the Swedish striker would not be leaving St. James's Park this summer transfer window. Then Newcastle put everyone on shock notice when it was reported by Fabrizio Romano that they had been in for Hugo Ekitike. Now, this was insane to begin with because Ekitike and Isak have a very, very similar player profile. How would Newcastle, if they were expecting to keep Alexander Isak, fit both Ekitike and Isak into their starting lineup, especially considering that Ekitike was a fairly expensive player to say the least. But nevertheless, it seemed as though they were interested in the former Eintracht Frankfurt striker. Then, out of nowhere, Liverpool came out and said that they were interested in Hugo Ekitike, and if Isak was not available from Newcastle, they would be going for the French striker. Fast forward, Liverpool signed Ekitike for a reported, I believe, 70 or 80 million pounds, and he has completed a transfer to Liverpool, and it seemed as though the saga was completely over. However, this past week, Fabrizio Romano reported that Alexander Isak is still going to, I guess, consider a move away from Newcastle this transfer window, and many reports have indicated as though his top priority spot would be Liverpool Football Club. Now, I find this completely interesting because Liverpool obviously have been interested in Isak for quite some time, but like I said, Isak and Ekitike have a very similar player profile. Going for both of them, in a lot of respects, doesn't make a whole bunch of sense. However, it has been noted that Ekitike can play off of the left. And why I specify that is, since the reporting of Alexander Isak still being a target for Liverpool Football Club, it's been reported that Luis Diaz could be leaving the Reds this summer. Now, this has all come to fruition with Liverpool's recent friendly against AC Milan, where Luis Diaz was not on the bench for the game. And following the game, Arne Slot said he was not included because his future at the club remains uncertain. Now, for me, when I see that, all this means is that Liverpool are going to go for Isak, and that means that Hugo Ekitike's role within the club is more than likely going to be he is going to play off of that left. Potentially, he could play as a striker if Isak isn't fit, for instance. But it seems as though Liverpool are looking to cash in on an approximately 80 million pounds on Luis Diaz this summer transfer window. Why I find this entire thing interesting is, what is the future of Darwin Nunez going to hold? As it's been reported that in the beginning of the transfer window, the likes of Napoli were extremely interested in Nunez. However, those talks completely dissipated, and they came entirely out of the Darwin Nunez race. From a personal perspective, Nunez has been kind of a controversial figure at Liverpool since he came from Benfica on a record transfer bid. However, he's been someone that's been controversial due to the fact that he's struggled with his output since joining Liverpool. Many fans want to see him go. I, for one, have no issue with Darwin Nunez remaining at the club if only he is to play a role where he is not expecting to be a starter, and rather his ability to come off the bench is something that would be more frequent. It's extremely interesting, the entire realm of possibilities that Liverpool could have. Joe Gomez just recently got injured in Liverpool's friendly against AC Milan with a reported Achilles injury, which obviously could put him out for quite some time. So I also wouldn't be surprised if Liverpool are going to shift their focus in the market to potentially bringing in a center back. But with the Alexander Isak thing still very much at large, it appears as though Liverpool are the front runners, as Al Hilal have apparently put in a bid for Alexander Isak and it's been rejected, and that he does not want to go play in Saudi Arabia. Right now, with this entire Alexander Isak saga, for me, I obviously would love to have him at Liverpool because he's a player of an extremely high caliber. And if he comes, I will be absolutely ecstatic. But unfortunately, if he doesn't come to Liverpool, I will find this so annoying. This transfer saga has gone on for months now at this point. And to his credit, I think that he maybe wants a move to Liverpool, but for quite some time it was hard for him to leave. I've seen some Liverpool fans criticize Newcastle and state that Newcastle are holding Isak hostage. We'll just have to wait and see. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately because I'm a Liverpool fan, but it appears as though Newcastle have already been in talks with the potential signing of Benjamin Sesko. So I do believe if Newcastle are to go out and potentially search for a replacement for Alexander Isak, I think the potential for Isak to then go to Liverpool is extremely higher. But you guys will have to let me know what you think down below in the comments. I'll keep you updated on this in entirety. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell as well so you know every time I make a new video. Thank you all for your support. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.